So, good evening and welcome to your class for today. Now, today we're going to look at page 85, exercise 3, grammar. So, open please page 85. It looks like this. Are you ready? Exercise 3, grammar expressing movement. Now, we've already seen the prepositions of movement in our vocabulary section. Today, we're going to look at verbs of movement. So, exercise A. Complete the sentences with a verb from the list. We've got hit, golpear, kick, dar una patada, run, correr, throw, lanzar. Now, let's have a look at sentence number 1. In basketball, you have to the ball through a ring with a basket. Number 2. In football, you have to the ball into the goal. Number 3, in tennis, you have to the ball over the net. And number 4, in the 800 meters, you have to twice round the track. That's athletics, isn't it? The 800 meters is an athletics event. So take a moment to complete the sentences, because right now we're going to take a look. So let's take a look, shall we? Here are the answers. Number 1, in basketball, you have to throw the ball through a ring with a basket. Number 2, in football, you have to kick the ball into the goal. In number 3, in tennis, you have to hit the ball over the net. And number 4, in the 800 meters, you have to run twice round the track. Now, let's look at exercise B, shall we? Now it says look at the sentence below. Try to think of 3 different verbs you could put in the gap. For example, walked. So here's the sentence. The man, along the street until he got to the corner. And here's the example with walked. The man walked along the street until he got to the corner. Another example could be run. No, the man ran along the street until he got to the corner. Could be drive. The man drove along the street until he got to the corner. We could use cycle. The man cycled along the street until he got to the corner. We could use jogged. No, the man jogged along the street until he got to the corner. So here we have different verbs of movement. Walk, run, drive, cycle, jog, with a preposition of movement, no, along. Now, let's open the grammar bank, please, on page 146. Now, grammar bank 11a, expressing movements. So let's listen to the example sentences.
4.58.
The man went up the steps and into the church.
He drove out of the garage and along the street.
I ran over the bridge and across the park.
Now, let's look at the explanation, shall we? So, it says, to express movement, use a verb of movement, for example, go, come, run, walk, etc., and a preposition or adverb of movement, for example, up, down, away, etc. Now, do you remember into and out of? We saw it in vocabulary, no? Ya lo hemos visto en vocabulario. Remember, use into or out of plus a noun and in or out. If there isn't a noun, come into the living room, come in. He went out of the house, he went out. Now you can look at those on page 162. Now, let's listen and repeat the sentences. Try to copy the rhythm. Here we go.
4.58.
The man went up the steps and into the church.
He drove out of the garage and along the street.
I ran over the bridge and across the park.
Very nice. Now, excuse me, I'm missing a T. Excuse me, along the street. Excuse me, along the street.
4.58.
The man went up the steps and into the church.
He drove out of the garage and along the street.
I ran over the bridge and across the park.
Very nice. My apologies, eh? My apologies. Now, let's take a look at the exercises on the next page. So it says, letter A, circle the correct preposition. Let's look at the example. I lost my mobile phone signal when we went through a tunnel. And letter B, complete the sentences with the correct preposition. Let's look at the example. He jumped into his car and drove away. Now, pause the video. Take as long as you like to complete exercises A and B. Now, are you ready to correct? Letter A, circle the correct preposition. Number 1, we ran to the sea and jumped into the water. Number 2, if you go past the bank, you'll see the supermarket on the right. Number 3, he walked along the street until he got to the park. Number 4, the plane flew over the town and landed. Number 5, the dog ran towards me, but then it stopped. Number 6, we cycled over the bridge and into the city centre. Number 7, the racing cars went around the track 12 times. And number 8, the little boy suddenly ran across the road. So that's exercise A. Let's look at exercise B. Complete the sentences with the correct preposition. So number 1, as I cycled under the bridge, a train went over it. Number 2, come in. The door's open. Number 3, this is the 3rd floor. Go down those stairs and you'll come to the 2nd floor. Number 4, he walked into the bar and ordered a drink. Number 5, I like going out on a Saturday night. Number 6, he took his passport out of his bag. And number 7, I'm exhausted. I've just cycled up a huge hill. A huge hill. Now, let's go back to page 84, shall we? Now, the final exercise, it says look at the photos, letter D, in exercise 1. Say what the people are doing. So here are the photos. Do you remember them? Well, let's see what these people are doing. Here are the answers. So in number 1, he's hitting the ball over the net. In number 2, he's jumping over the bar. In number 3, he's skiing down the mountain. In number 4, he's throwing the ball into the basket. In number 5, he's cycling around the track. In number 6, he's throwing the ball into the goal. And in number 7, one player is pulling another player down. The other player is running towards the touchline. Now you can also say the line, la línea de fondo. So that's all for today. If you have any problems or questions, just let me know. Thanks for watching.